Greetings, everyone. Dr. Jack Wolfson here, cardiologist. Welcome to this presentation. The chat box is open, so feel free to jump into the chat and say hello. Mike from Ireland is the first one to comment. Great to see you, Mike. I appreciate everyone being here. I know there's a lot going on in the world. A lot of people are demanding of your time, friends, family, work, you name it. So I will not take up much of it, and I promise to give you extremely high value. Pam, great to see you. I'm recording right now from the Texas Hill Country. Michelle Ramos in the house. A lot of people. Again, if I don't mention you, I apologize. I mean no slight from that by any means, because we've got well over 1,000 people who signed up for the webinar tonight. So let's jump into it as people come in. We got Australia in the house, South Carolina, Reading, more South Carolina, on and on and on. So give me about 30 minutes tonight, guys. And if you're getting the recording, it's going to be about 30 minutes. Plus, I'll save plenty of time for Q&A. Ask me anything and everything. And the replay will be available. So don't stress about taking notes. Don't stress about something that you may miss because I talk fast. And again, the chat box is open. Now, I'm not really going to be monitoring the chat box. So, I mean, I will at the end, but I'm not going to do it in real time because I'm not going to interrupt myself as I can lose, I can become distracted very quickly. So, again, so thankful again for you guys to be here. And I love tonight's topic, fish over fish oil. I love this. I geek out on all the science, everything behind it. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a deep dive, but I think you're going to come out of this by the end of the presentation much, much healthier. Jim, say hello to Downers Grove for me. In particular, the Portillo's in Lombard. I won't eat there ever again, but I used to. So anywho, oh, no, it was a Bona Beef in Lombard, not a Portillo's, although there's probably one out there now. Again, thank you for everyone for attending. All right, so listen, you all know cardiovascular disease, #1 killer in the world, millions of heart attacks every year, millions of people suffer AFib, high blood pressure, trillions in pharmaceutical spend. A lot of money being spent on cardiovascular health and cardiovascular sickness. And you can see here again, heart disease, close to 700,000. These are just American deaths. You can see heart disease #1. You got cancer on the list. COVID was up there. Accidents. There's not too much I can do in this presentation about accidents, although I think that everything I say is going to make you a healthier person mentally and physically. And I think probably even accidents can go down from the strategies that I'm going to be talking about in this presentation. But, you know, a lot of you have heard me say this before. Heart disease or life expectancy over the last 40 years, we've gained an extra, after the last 45 years, since 1980, life expectancy in the United States has gone up by 3 years. 3 years. We've gone from mid-70s to, 77, 78. And that's what we have out of all the pharma, all of the prescription meds, all the doctor visits, all of the technology, all the surgeries. We've gained 3 years. That's just, it's not good enough, people. Not good enough at all. So this presentation is about the benefits of eating seafood, why fish oil is not the best strategy, how to get seafood into your diet instead of fish oil. Take this, and I'll tell you what that is in a little bit. But again, if you're taking fish oil right now, you don't necessarily have to stop, but I would defer to what I'm going to tell you in this presentation, and we'll talk a lot more. So that's what we're going to be talking about now. Real quick about me, former partner in Arizona's largest cardiology group, chairman of medicine and director of cardiac rehab. In 2011, I was voted by my cardiology and doctor peers in Arizona, top doc, 2011. 5-time top holistic medical doctor, functional medicine doctor, top 50 international speaker, married to my wife with 4 beautiful children, a dog, and now 8 cats. We adopted a second cat. That second cat was pregnant, and now we have 6 kittens right now. So I'm on vacation right now in this presentation, people. My wife's doing all the work with the kids. I'm on vacation. So I'm going to enjoy my vacation talking to you guys. As you know, on the book is on the left is my book, The Paleo Cardiologist, The Natural Way to Heart Health. On the right is the textbook of integrative medicine, of which I'm very proud to be a author on. So I want to take a tour inside of the body. I want to take a tour inside of our body. So our bodies, male and female, are made up of roughly 37 trillion. 37 trillion. I think that's about equal to the national debt of the United States. But without digressing there, 37 trillion cells. It's a lot of cells. 37 trillion. The cells are in the brains, the cells are in the heart, the cells are in the lungs and the kidneys and the skin and everywhere in between. And this is what a cell looks like in a cartoon drawing. Think of it as kind of like this ball, right? It's got a inside of the ball and the outside of the ball, the leather on the baseball, if you will. And on the left hand side, I have in red circled there is the cell membrane, the brains of the cell membrane. You see that? Okay, that's in green. So the outside of the cell, the fence that holds it all in, is called the cell membrane. The cell membrane is really important. Again, it's the brains of the cell. It allows things inside the cell that belong and should stay there. It keeps things outside of the cell that don't belong. It is cellular communication, how cells receive hormones, how cells release healing materials. Inside of the cell are things like mitochondria for cellular energy, lysosomes, which are the cellular garbage cans. Of course, the nucleus with the DNA is inside there. Protein manufacturing is in there. Replication strategies are in there. The cell is a beautiful, beautiful gift from God. It is absolutely spectacular in its design. Absolutely spectacular. And you have to heal the cell if you want to feel good. You have to heal the cell if you want to feel well. You have to heal the cell and everything inside of it if you want to stay young, if you want to prevent heart attacks and strokes and dementia and cancer. Healthy cells. And the healthy cell, I'm telling you people, it starts with the fence around the cell membrane. Now, the cell membrane we've known about since the late 1800s. And in the early 1970s, there's a PhD researcher who's still alive by the name of Garth Nicholson. And Nicholson described the cell membrane in really good detail. And then what Nicholson would go on to think about and study as time would go on was that how do we make the cell membrane healthy? He's like, I discovered how the whole thing works, but how do we make it healthy? How do we make it healthy? And that's what I'm going to be talking about right now, which is so critically important. And the beautiful thing is it's easy-ish to make it healthy. So the cell membrane is 2 layers. And then you can see on the top of this picture here, the cell membrane, right below the title cell membrane, it says extracellular side or outside of the cell. And then on the bottom left, it says cytoplasmic side inside of the cell. So I want to stress something very important to you people. Okay, this cell membrane, the brains of the cell, you can see there's lime green working its way through the cell membrane. The lime green is a representation of cholesterol. You see, cholesterol is not the bad guy in the story. Cholesterol is necessary. for many different things that you probably all know, and I'm not going to go into all the beauties of cholesterol. I just want you to know one of the beauties of cholesterol, one of the amazing things, it's inside of the cell membrane. So we want good cholesterol. Now, cholesterol is very important in the cell membrane, and there's other very important structures in the cell membrane itself. But you may notice the majority of what you see there are these like yellowish orange balls. And then each one of those balls has two tails. So get this. That must be pretty important, right? Because there's a lot of those yellow-orange balls, and there's a lot of those black tails. So we have to look at that and say, wow, that must be pretty important. Well, guess what the yellow-orange balls and the black tails are? Guess what they are, people? They're omega-3 fish oil. They're omega-3 fatty acids. That's what those are. Now, in the yellow-orange ball, those are things like choline and inositol that are there. Phosphorus or phosphate is there. Those tails are fatty acids. And we need omega-3, DHA, and EPA in that membrane to make the cell work. You get that, everybody? Look at how much there is. I didn't draw that. That's just a histology drawing as designed by, depicted by the scientist who made this. I hope everybody is getting just how critically important this is, as this whole thing surrounds the cell. And it helps us create our hormones, and it makes cellular energy and controls inflammation and oxidative stress. All of our brain cells, the brain cells need these healthy fatty acids that are best obtained from seafood. We've known this in many studies. I could go on and on and on. Here's a journal from Cell Discovery, plasma membrane, right? Cell membrane integrity in health and disease, significance, and therapeutic potential. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter what your health problem is for you and your family, I'm telling you, seafood is going to help. Bear with me here. March 6, 2020. Highlighted in blue towards the bottom, lipid peroxidation in cellular membranes. So this is damage. Lipid peroxidation in cell membranes can cause severe membrane damage and potential cell death. You see, all sickness is caused from two things. Too much of the bad stuff, not enough of the good stuff. The bad stuff damages the cell membranes. The good stuff helps to fix it. The good stuff helps to fix the damage. It's like if your house, the walls of your house have damage, you can either let the damage continue or you can fix the wall. You can put up brand new walls. You can tear it down to the studs and put them up new. So the best way to supercharge the cell membrane, the best way to do it is with food, seafood. That is the way that you do it, people. And there is no other way that comes close. No other way that comes close. Now, I personally try and eat seafood every day. I try and get some seafood into my body every day. So get this here, ready? Seafood eaters have less heart attacks, less strokes, less high blood pressure, less risk of high blood pressure, less AFib. See that, Mary and Lily? Seafood eaters have less AFib and less PVCs. better cholesterol, less heart failure, less cancer, better brains, better endothelium, live longer. Okay, let's break down into the data, okay? Fish consumption and all-cause mortality. Seafood eaters live longer. European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Association of oily fish intakes and all-cause mortality. There are many studies that prove that seafood eaters live longer. Cardiovascular, so total mortality is better. Cardiovascular mortality, the chances of dying from heart disease in 2021, the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. These are big journals, big journals. Cardiovascular mortality lower by 23% when you eat 4 to 6 times per week. There's so much data here, people, so much data. New England Journal of Medicine, all the way back to 1995. Dietary intake of omega-3 fatty acids, 26% lower risk of heart attack. 26%. If you eat seafood after a heart attack, you have less risk of another heart attack and less risk to die after a heart attack. Seafood protects against AFib and other heart rhythm disorders. 2007. Seafood, fish, shellfish are all included in this. Seafood protects against AFib and other heart rhythm disorders. 31% less AFib in the journal Circulation. These are big-time cardiology journals. Big-time cardiology journals. Less PVCs, premature ventricular complexes, palpitations, skip beats, flip-flops. American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Stroke risk is reduced by 30% in people eating seafood 5 days per week. Archives of Internal Medicine. This is not questionable, friends. This is reality. 32% lower risk of heart failure. Journal of the American College of Cardiology. Now, what's all the there's no magic here. It's just the nutrients that are in seafood can be found nowhere else. Can be found nowhere else. So it is all of the nutrients in eating seafood that helps the cell membrane, all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the proteins, all the fats. It's all there. This one here, lower risk of diabetes. Okay? Lower risk of diabetes, lower risk of cardiac events in diabetics. Better blood pressure. Better blood pressure. Lower cancer risk. While we're at it, now that we're helping heart issues, we may as well have a lower cancer risk. Huge. Huge. How the omega-3 fats and all the other nutrients from fats helps protect our skin. Lower skin cancer rates in people who eat seafood. 17% lower risk of dementia. Very cool. Very cool there. Less depression. I could go on and on like this all night, right? Seafood is anti-aging. Effect of omega-3 fatty acids on the telomere length. The telomeres are at the end, they're the end caps of the DNA in every one of us. Those can be measured and they can tell you your biological age. If you have short telomeres, you're in trouble. Seafood makes them longer. Anti-aging. Better than any anti-aging strategy from a supplement standpoint, from a biohacking standpoint. Look at this, 2024. The severity of COVID-19 upon hospital admission is associated with plasma omega-3 fatty acids. More omega-3s, lowest risk of being dead from COVID. Multiple studies. Multiple studies. Okay, ready, guys? Can I just take fish oil? Can I just take fish oil? The answer I'm going to tell you is I wouldn't rely on fish oil. I used to recommend a lot of fish oil when I was starting off in holistic practice 20 years ago, and then starting Natural Heart Doctor. Fish oil is a processed oil. It is a man-made processed oil. It's got none of the vitamins, none of the minerals, none of the proteins. It's got no brain building, no cell membrane building, choline or inositol, and it doesn't have the full spectrum of fatty acids, omega-3s, 6, and 9s. It just typically has omega-3s in there. And I think that there's a problem with that. So over the last few years, even in the holistic space, people are really starting to question the complicated relationship between fish oil and heart health. Now, a lot of the good news about fish oil really came in the late 1990s. The late 1990s showed that people after a heart attack, if they were given fish oil versus nothing, the fish oil group did better. That was in Italy. It's called the Gizzi Prevenzione trial. But since then, we've started to find just some chinks in the armor with this processed oil. And here we can see from a very large study and review, okay, where it says EPA DHA has little or no effect on mortality or cardiovascular health. And they're looking at supplement trials. They're not looking at seafood intake. I showed you all that, but here's data. Fish oil users have more AFib. European Journal of Preventive Cardiology. Fish oil supplementation appears to increase the risk of atrial fibrillation. Like any study, we can be critical of these results. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to take the fish oil. You can just eat the fish. You can just eat the fish. Another study, 26% higher risk of AFib. This study actually was positive for fish oil. 25% reduction in postoperative atrial fibrillation. This study showed fish oil lowers blood pressure. This study showed that people have less heart attacks while taking fish oil. So that's why, again, there's confounding data. Maybe there's some evidence that says it lowers heart attacks. Maybe there's some evidence that shows that it increases AFib. But the one thing that's very clear is that eating seafood is a good strategy. So these are my favorite seafoods here. So we talk about fish. We got, these are wild, of course, salmon, sardines, anchovies, tuna, mahi-mahi, mackerel, herring. These are typically very high in omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA. And please don't ask me if you can get them from chia seeds and flax seeds. You can't. The body just doesn't make it from those. You can get omega-3s as what's called ALA, but it doesn't get converted into EPA and DHA. As we get older, we lose function of an enzyme called delta-6 desaturase, another enzyme called elongase. We just don't do it well. And I test levels. I test people's omega-3 levels inside of our micronutrient testing. And you can buy some of these tests. I mean, you can buy them on Amazon. But shellfish, oysters, crab, lobster, shrimp, clams, octopus, scallops. And then also we've got wild salmon roe. We've got the salmon roe. Now, somebody asked before about, doesn't the Bible prescribe against eating shellfish? And I'm not a biblical expert, but I'm going to try to impart the way I see things here. The Old Testament and the laws of Moses do not allow for the intake of shellfish. They say shellfish is unclean. This would include mussels as well, Angela. They say shellfish is unclean. It's got to have scales. As I understand it, Paul of the New Testament authorship, Paul allowed for the consumption of pretty much everything. And again, I'm learning here, people. I'm learning here, people. Okay? I understand all the rationale and toxins and stuff like that. I personally have found that oysters, crabs, lobster, shrimp, clams, octopus, scallops are just, these are wonderfully healthy foods. Although, again, there is some conflict with what the Bible, would say from that standpoint. I believe purely from a health standpoint, and I do consume these fish. Wild salmon roe should be of no debate, though. Should be of no debate. We are eating the eggs of a wild salmon. And nature does not put toxins inside of its progeny. It doesn't. Wild salmon roe is clean. I'm going to tell you about it a little bit more, and then we'll go back. I want to introduce you to the concept, as I am right now, food as medicine. Wild salmon, sardines, anchovies, clams, oysters, shrimp, lobster, crab, and wild salmon roe. Wild salmon roe. Wild salmon roe is the most effective way to get omega-3 fatty acids and everything else. I would encourage you to eat wild salmon roe. I like to add it to my eggs. I just spoon it in. So does my wife and our 4 children. This is the nutritional breakdown of wild salmon roe. It contains everything, people. Everything. All those omega-3s, all the proteins, all of the cholesterol that we love, antioxidants, all of the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, K. Vitamin K2 keeps calcium in your bones and out of your arteries. All the B vitamins. It's a multivitamin, people. Get rid of your multivitamin and get on this bad boy. It replaces so many different vitamins. And it's food. It's food. Zinc, copper, iron, choline. Choline is our neurotransmitters, acetylcholine, phosphatidylcholine in the cell membranes, the brain. All this good stuff. Good healthy potassium, good healthy sodium, naturally occurring sodium, no added salt, glutathione, CoQ10. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Let me tell you about our wild salmon roe. The life of the WSR wild salmon roe from NHD Natural Heart Doctor. It's swimming along in the Salish Sea. It is caught by Lummi Island Seafood, one of the best seafood purveyors that I've ever tried. From there, it is instantly frozen by Lummi Island, and then it's shipped to Shepherd Boy Farms, and then Shepherd Boy freeze dries it, and they're one of the biggest freeze dryers in the country. Then it's sent to Centaur Nutra, where it is milled and encapsulated and bottled. And then it's sent to Chuck and Jenny and Chance and Andrew down in Arizona. That's what it is. It is freeze-dried salmon roe in a capsule, and there is nothing else like it. There are some other fish egg products. They are not wild salmon roe from the Salish Sea. There is nothing better. There is no biohack. There is no better supplement. There's nothing better than this. Nothing better than this. It's an investment. It's an investment in your health, but you're worth it. So it's 100% wild salmon roe. There's no fillers. There's no flow agents in there. Nothing else. Again, it's sourced from Lummi Island Seafood. The owner of Lummi Island, one of the owners, his name is Ian, and the seafood from them is delicious. Delicious. This is a mixture of king coho and sockeye salmon roe. And if you go on the one of my web pages, you can see actually the bear. This black bear is in the river, and it squeezes, it steps on the salmon, squeezes out its roe, sucks it all up, and then kicks the rest of the salmon into the water. I love to eat the rest of the salmon too, but the roe, man, it is a delicacy. Loaded with every vitamin and mineral, loaded with the essential fats and proteins, no added sodium, but there's naturally sodium in there. But guess what? There's naturally sodium in us, and a lot of it. So we need to take in good quality salts, but it's already in this particular food. It's built in naturally. So what we do is we take 6 caps per day. That's equal to a ½ ounce of wet roe. And you can take, the dose on the mainstay is 6 per day. You can take as many as you want. I mean, I've never seen anyone overdose on wild salmon roe. This is from, there's also a study on this slide here that basically says that they found that the dose necessary to lower your risk of heart attack and stroke was that ½ ounce. Was that ½ ounce of seafood, and this is it. And this is it. Okay? So, and the good news is too, is like there's no, it's not messy, right? There's no mess, there's no smell, there's no taste. If you swallow the capsule, if you chew the capsule, there'll be a taste and there may be like a slight smell, but yeah, it's really, really excellent stuff, the wild salmon roe. Super proud of this. Safe with any pharmaceutical. I guess I can only say, I guess if you're allergic to salmon, if you're allergic to fish, if you're allergic to seafood, then check with your doctor, work with us. It's so amazing. Robin S., she absolutely loves this. Great way to get in my omega-3s. Love that I'm able to take it when I'm unable to eat enough fresh fish during the week. Brian, again, loves, and what Brian's saying, he's like, he saved money because he got rid of his omega-3. He got rid of his vitamin D. He got rid of his B vitamins. And it's like, you can travel with it and go from there. Okay, thank you, Brian. Somebody had asked about potential contaminants. Get this. We studied it. Get this. Our wild salmon roe has under 10 parts per billion of mercury. Remember, mercury is everywhere, people. Cabbage has mercury. Organic cabbage in Northern California has mercury. Mercury has been on Earth since before humans were. It's part of Earth. I would not be worried about mercury in this scenario. If I was eating a shark or a swordfish, I probably wouldn't do that. So our wild salmon roe has very low levels of mercury. Tuna has 20 times the amount of mercury as this does. But like I said, and there's no lead. We also tested it there on this slide for lead. Okay. But I'm really not worried about things like lead and mercury. Those are natural things on Earth since the dawn of human existence. So I'm not looking to consume a lot of mercury, but I'm not worried about mercury and lead in the foods that I'm eating, as I've described to you already. What I am worried about is plastic. I'm really worried about plastic in my food, in cans, in just everywhere. It's in water. Plastics are in the air. So what do? We tested for plastic. We tested the product for bisphenol A, which is a component of plastic. And it was undetectable, people. There was no plastic in the wild salmon roe. So I'm not worried about plastic in wild salmon or sardines or anchovies. And I can only tell you that we paid to have the roe tested and there was no plastic. It's perfect for everyone, for any health condition, and you really can get rid of a lot of your other supplements. It's the roe, freeze-dried, and put into a capsule. Food is medicine. There's nothing else in there but food. It's perfect for anyone with cardiac concerns, brain concerns, skin concerns, gut concerns, neurologic concerns, MS, Parkinson's, you name it. If you're pregnant, this stuff is gold for your developing baby. You want to buy a gift for someone who's pregnant? There is no better gift than this. Okay, I'm excited. So, are we clear? Fix your membranes. Get seafood into your body every day. That's the take-home message, people. Get seafood into your body every day. This is what you will see when you come to our website. And I'm going to put this up right now. So if you click Learn More, that'll open up another window for you. So we can get this to under $5 a serving, but you got to buy the 6 bottles at once. One bottle is $197. It's under $7 per day. And I will ask you, what else do you spend $7 on per day? Is it, is it your coffee? Is it some kind of sugar? Is it some kind of alcohol? $7 for all of this. And like I said, you can replace a lot of your nutrients because, you get rid of your fish oil. You get rid of a lot of your vitamins and minerals because it's all in this food. Food is medicine. I like supplements, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-supplement. But this is foundational stuff. And so if you get it for 3 months, you're under $6 a serving. And if you get a big $6, the prepper package, that takes you under $5 a serving. And we're paying for shipping on all of this. So eat a lot of seafood, but this is a good foundational thing to take every day. And you can still eat seafood because you're not going to overdose. But this is a great way to get it into kids. It's a great way to get it into adults who maybe don't like seafood. It's great for travel. It's calories. It counts as part of the food budget. This isn't part of the supplements budget. This isn't, I spend $300 a month on vitamins and minerals. This is food. This counts as the food budget. And if you get the big prepper package, which I would encourage you to do, because that's the cheapest way to do it. This stuff lasts for 25 years. It's freeze-dried salmon roe. It's just salmon roe minus the water. And that's what it is. So when you click on Learn More, it'll take you to a page. You're not going to get logged out of here. And that's where you can get the absolute single greatest supplement on earth, and nothing else compares. Nothing else compares. This is numero uno. Numero uno. Now, some of you take my product called Kickstart My Heart, which is the bison, liver, heart, and soon to be kidney product. And that's 1A. That's right there, baby. That's right there. But this is King Kong. This is King Kong. This is just what the doctor ordered. I understand it's expensive, but I'm telling you, getting the best wild salmon in the world, freeze-dried, milled, encapsulated, bottled, shipped, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. It's not cheap for me. It's an investment in your health. I understand your fish oil may be $10 a bottle, $20 a bottle, but it's not doing the job for you. So why take it? It may be increasing the risk of AFib. It's processed. It doesn't contain the vitamins, minerals, the proteins, all the fats, the CoQ10, the glutathione, the inositol, the choline, the astaxanthin, the other antioxidants. It's not in there. It's not in there, people. So I can jump into questions. I'll jump into the chat box and then go from there. Pat is asking about good for dogs. We give it to our dog. It's good for any dog. It's amazing for dogs. Our dogs eat the wild salmon roe. Our dogs eat the wild salmon roe capsules. We open up the capsules, sprinkle it on their food. Same thing with the cats. Okay? So you can, Margaret, you can open the capsules and mix with your eggs, or you can swallow them down with your eggs. Matt, there is arsenic in sardines, but it's not the dangerous form of arsenic that's found in synthetic fertilizers. I'm not worried about arsenic from eating sardines. I'm not, and I haven't seen it as a problem with any of my patients either. I think maybe the bigger concern right now with the sardines is eating out of a can that's all lined with plastic, BPA or not. I think that may be the biggest concern. Okay. Joseph, does freeze drying affect the nutritional value? Anyone who freeze dries anything in the freeze dry industry will say no, that it does not affect the nutritional value, because all you're doing is removing the water. And pretty much, again, everybody in the freeze drying industry, out of all the studies that I've ever seen, it's not impacted whatsoever. D, if you eat seafood 2 to 3 times per week, D, you can do whatever you want. I personally take the wild salmon roe every day as the foundation, and then I eat seafood on top of that. Now, I don't always get seafood into my diet. I would say 5 days a week is probably as much seafood as I get. What else? Freshwater fish, Alan, does not count. A lot of these fish, cod, trout, they're tasty, and they're a good source of protein. And of course, they've got vitamins and minerals, and hopefully low on the contaminants side. But what they don't have is the omega-3 fatty acids. They don't have that. And therefore, what I say is they're really not medicinal fish. They're really not medicinal fish. And if we're going to consume these things, we really want this kind of food as medicine type of thing. Okay? So that's what we're looking at there. Under $5 a serving if you buy the prepper package, which is a 6-month supply. I understand that this is an investment. I do. But it's an investment in your health that I believe will pay off dramatically for you. So, let's see here. Timothy, thank you for saying that. If you ate roe, could you eliminate the B's, the K2, and the CoQ10? Quite possibly, Greg. Quite possibly. I mean, I do think you should test, your levels, so you can try, how you're doing here. Sometimes additional K2 would be necessary. This is just a really good foundation, but oftentimes you can lower the dose, certainly on the B vitamins. I think, Greg, what we're looking at is the Kickstart My Heart and the Wild Salmon Roe is the foundation for a lot of people. We throw in the emu oil. You can very often get rid of the CoQ10 as well, when you're doing this. So again, you can open up the, when you click on Learn More, that'll open up another page. You won't lose me, you won't lose anything, and you'll be able to, again, like learn more about this particular product. So we can get you under $7 a day, under $6 a day, and just under $5 a day if you do the prepper package, which again is the best option. And we're excited about this. I mean, hopefully we'll be able to keep this in stock for a long period of time. It's not easy getting, there's a lot of people who demand the wild salmon roe, but fortunately we have a really good relationship with Lummi Island Seafood where they're giving us the best of the best over there. Okay. So someone is asking about, they have some issues with their eyes. So many different things that are going on here. I would love to be able to help you, this person who's asking about this, but you know, again, I do believe this supplement would tremendously help your eyeballs for sure. I mean, you know, omega-3 fatty acids really help your eyeballs, you know, for sure. Perry, the Okinawans are the longest lived people on earth. They eat a lot of seafood. The Seventh-day Adventists in California, the people who live the longest there are the women who eat seafood. The pescatarians amongst the women, Perry, do not skip eating seafood. Don't do it. Do not do it, Perry. Do not do it. All right. Yes, the prepper package is available on the website, and what takes you to it is when you click the Learn More button, and that'll take you exactly where you need to go. It'll take you exactly where you need to go in order to secure your order. Okay, so Kelly throws that in there, Kelly. I like it. Okay, Timothy. In the book of Timothy, for every creature of God is good and nothing to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving. For it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer. The Lord ate fish with the disciples. So, you know, I mean, first of all, eating salmon roe is fine in any version of the Bible. The question is about eating the other shellfish or fish without scales. And, you know, listen, I prefer it. I always, of course, pray before I eat because you should. You should be very thankful to God for your bounty, thankful to the animal or the seafood or the plant that was sacrificed. Of course, from a medical standpoint, it brings you into parasympathetic tone. So you kind of, you know, improve. It really helps with digestion. So there you go. Cheryl Ramsey helped me not to have floaters anymore. It's great for eye health. Remember, because the back of the eye, called the retina, there is a certain part of the retina called the fovea, and that is the single most dense area of DHA, omega-3 from seafood in the body. And what happens is that when your retina doesn't have enough omega-3s, the body wants to have less light come in. So what does it do? It creates a curtain over the eye so less light gets in. That curtain is called a cataract. So if you want to prevent cataracts, if you want to slow the progression of a cataract, eat seafood. Eat seafood, please. Troy says, can you eat both sardines and salmon daily or almost daily? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. David, are there any studies on the effects of eating salmon roe? No, I'm not aware of any individual studies about people who consume salmon roe. We know the nutritional value of salmon roe, and we know the toxins are not in the salmon roe, but we don't really know, again, about that, again, like the actual health effects there. Laura, is ocean farmed salmon is good for you? No. There's nothing There's nothing better than the wild Pacific salmon. There's just not. There's just not. So, there you go. What are the questions? So, Brad, what do you suggest for AFib, congestive heart failure, and gout? Most doctors say stay away from red meat and seafood. No. I don't listen to most doctors, Brad. You know that. I listen to me. I listen to Mother Nature. I love meat. I love seafood. There is no better, more complete food in the world than seafood and free-range, grass-fed, regeneratively raised meats. Not. What causes gout, my friend, is carbs. What causes gout is alcohol, sugar, starchy carbs. Mostly sugar and alcohol is what does it. It's not from eating free-range, grass-fed meat or eating wild salmon roe. Nope. No. Perry, you better not be plant-based. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. What else? I'm here for questions, people. I'm here. Will this reduce LDL? I think so. I mean, first of all, we know it reduces triglycerides, that's for sure. Elevated LDL is because there's a reason for that. Many different reasons. And I can come up with 50 ways that this particular product would help to improve lipids. 50, easily. Just because I can start talking about all the different vitamins, all the different minerals, all the different proteins, all the different fatty acids. You see, when you have a strong cell membrane, that fence, the cell works better. So when your cells work better in the liver, they clear old LDL out of circulation. When we lower inflammation, that means less cholesterol, less LDL. Timothy, thank you. Your book helped save my life after a heart attack last year. Thank you for being unapologetic in telling the truth. That's beautiful, Timothy. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm here. Will it help with blood pressure? It certainly could be. It certainly could, Kim. I mean, again, food is medicine. Food is medicine. We know that omega-3s, we know that seafood eaters have a lower risk of high blood pressure. So yeah, this is seafood, so it's going to help. It's going to help. It's not a mega dose of seafood. It's half an ounce of seafood. It's 15 grams of seafood. Michelle Moreno, what do you think? What do you got? Talk to me. Pam from Austin. Pam will be at the farmer's market in Barton Creek on Saturday if I see you. What do you think? Who else we got? Who else we got here? Lady Tia and Costa. I know you got it. I know you get it. Jim from Downers. No healthy food in Downers. I know that. Been there, done that. Better take some wild salmon roe, my friend. Timothy, I like raw dairy. I'm not a big fan of other dairy as far as health is concerned, but I'm okay with raw dairy. Dealing with mold exposure. Huge for this. Because, I mean, mold exposure just does so much damage. So much damage. Oh, Lady T is having her ceviche. Love. Pam's feeding her dog sardines. I hope Pam's, I know Pam's taking it too. Okay. Lori's asking about omega-7s. I don't really have much comment about omega-7s. Again, these are all just processed oils. Just not a fan. Just eat the seafood. Eat the seafood. Linda says, if I understand correctly, I can eat wild salmon roe instead of wild salmon and other shellfish. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you can eat you can eat the plain roe. It's gorgeous. It's delicious. I understand it doesn't necessarily taste like a hot fudge sundae, but you know, you eat this stuff and you're just like, l'chaim, to life. Thank you, God. Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for this amazing food. Thank you. So, yeah. Kelly, sardines, I mean, I don't care if they come in olive oil or they come in water. I don't really care. Nancy, wild seafood, there's a lot of different companies that deliver wild seafood. The company that makes our wild salmon roe, they catch the salmon. They're called Lummi, Lummi. If you go to the products we recommend on the website, on Natural Heart Doctor website, in the Learning Center under products we recommend, you'll see our recommended food companies that are there. Oh, Michelle Moreno takes it every day. Oh, you're so awesome, Michelle. My friend Michelle. Cool. Timothy, how often do I eat red meat? A lot. I eat a lot of bison. I eat a lot of bison. I swallow my Kickstart caps. I eat a lot of seafood. We eat a lot of red meat. I would say that I eat red meat pretty much every day. But don't get me wrong, I'm not the carnivore cardiologist. I am the paleo cardiologist. That's the title of my book. I eat hunter-gatherer foods. Hunter would be meat and seafood. Gather would be eggs and avocados and coconuts and olives and nuts and seeds and fruits and vegetables. But I like to start, the foundation of my pyramid is the seafood and the meat. That's the foundation of my pyramid. Okay. David Samara, any possibility of lowering ApoB? For sure. And LP little a, for sure. For sure, there's a possibility. I mean, I don't guarantee it, but, I think it's definitely worth trying. I mean, and if you have elevated ApoB and elevated LP little a, this is a perfect supplement just in general. Even if it didn't affect those, it's going to help to support lowering the risk in a person with that. Ange is asking, Kim, what are your symptoms for mold exposure? Mold exposure symptoms can be anything. Mold exposure symptoms, starting from the top, it can be, brain fog, forgetfulness, confusion, cognitive disorders, movement disorders, Parkinson's, MS. It could be ocular health. It could be dizziness. It could be hearing issues. It could be taste issues. It could be smell issues. It could be cardiac issues. It could be skin issues, lung issues, gut issues, genitourinary issues, erectile dysfunction, low libido, circulatory, liver, kidney, all of it. Mold is a bad one. Mold is and I've got mold videos and presentations I would invite you to watch. You can go to the naturalheartdoctor.com website. You can go to the Learning Center and you can see my mold video. AFib from mold, for sure. Mold leads to, here's what happens. I'm gonna tell you what happens to lead to most diseases, people. And like I said, everything is from two things. Too much of the bad stuff, not enough of the good stuff. Wild salmon roe is the good stuff, people. Wild salmon roe is the good stuff. Okay. The bad stuff damages the gut microbiome. When you damage the gut microbiome, it leads to intestinal hyperpermeability, otherwise known as leaky gut. Things get into the body that don't belong, sets up an immune response, inflammation, oxidative stress, two things that are linked to AFib. And then it leads to leaky gut. Leaky gut leads to leaky heart and leaky brain and leaky liver and all this stuff. So Nancy asks, how would this help the liver specifically? How does it not? And Kelly, the mold mycotoxins damage the gut microbiome and then eventually inflammation, AFib, etc. So Nancy, how does this not help the liver? All of the fat-soluble vitamins help the liver, A, D, E, K. All of the B vitamins help the liver, the CoQ10, the glutathione, the omega-3 fatty acids that are part of the cell membrane of every single hepatic cell. All the proteins to make the liver function. Yeah, this is gold. for the liver, gold for the kidneys, gold for the brain. This is liquid gold, people. Not liquid gold, actually. It's powdered gold. Lily is asking, should I test omega-3 levels before starting wild salmon roe? You could. I'm still going to recommend wild salmon roe anyways. And if you are eating seafood, you can check your levels of omega-3. And then if they're low, then you have two options: eat more seafood or add in omega-3 fish oil, which, yes, there are quality versions versus not quality. And the data can be said to be, is it the quality fish oil? Is it not quality fish oil? I just wouldn't necessarily, when we have an alternative, which is eating the seafood, then just do that. The wild salmon roe, Timothy, does not need to be kept in the refrigerator. It does not. It just sits on your shelf for as long as you want it to sit there. And freeze-dried foods are known to be shelf-stable for 25 years. So that's why the prepper package is great. And God forbid there is a prepper situation where you're like, I need food. And there's no food around because there's some kind of a shutdown or the shelves are empty. This stuff is prepper food. That's what we called it, the prepper package. It lasts. It's food. Oh, there's no food today, or I can't go out anywhere. The world's on lockdown. Can I eat this and survive? Yeah, you'll survive. You'll be healthier than before, frankly. Bruce, long COVID and salmon roe, there's a lot of different debate about what is leading to long COVID. But if we're looking at, can all the vitamins, minerals, proteins, and fatty acids help improve long COVID? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Nancy currently takes cod liver oil, butter. The difference, it's just different. I mean, cod liver oil, it does contain proteins and fats and may have medicinal value, but don't mistake it for wild salmon roe. First of all, one is a cod and the other is a medicinal fish called wild salmon. And there are many things that are deficient in the oil compared to eating the actual fish. Okay. Lily is currently taking Optilipid and adding wild salmon a positive. Yeah, I think we got a lot of people who take that combination of product. Mary, how dangerous is farm salmon? I wouldn't eat it. I definitely would not eat farm raised salmon. Definitely not. Definitely not. And I suggest you don't either. Why would I? Why would I eat that? Because it's cheaper? I wouldn't. Kim, I've spent over the past 6 months dealing with mold, thousands in supplements. All it sounds like I need is salmon roe caps. Well, Kim, number one, you have to get out of mold. You have to get out of the mold. That's number 1, 2, and 3. The question is, do you need much more in the way of supplementation than some of these basics, like the Kickstart My Heart, the wild salmon roe, the unfiltered emu oil? You could go to Body Bio, PC oil. We sell a Shilajit tar. You got to repair the gut microbiome with a good probiotic like Heart Helpers. That's a pretty darn good start right there. But ultimately, you got to get out of the mold. And that is the difficult part. And that's the expensive part. But Kim, I don't know what supplements you took for the mold. If you want to drop that into the comment box, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. Yeah, listen, a lot of people spend a lot of money on this stuff. It's unfortunately, it costs a lot of money to stay healthy in this world. Don't get me wrong. There are things that are free. Getting outside is free. Good quality sleep on time is free. Exercise, physical activity is free. Prayer gratitude, spirituality, free, self-acceptance, purpose, passion, community, good relationships, free. Free, free, free. Marlo, confused on mold. Mold is anywhere and everywhere. Under a sink, toilet, shower, laundry machine, dishwasher, HVAC system, in the walls, in the attic, in the crawl space. Very insidious. In the fabric of the home, in the drywall, in the 2x4s, in the ceiling joists. It's scary. It is scary, for sure, unfortunately. Wish it wasn't people, but it is. It is. All right, so, I see that we've got several people who are getting the prepper package, which I think is a smart move. But hey, listen, whatever you think, whatever you think, works for you. Cindy, we spent a lot of money. Lady Tia, how about dead mold? Yeah, I remember that, I said like the concern about dead mold, it's kind of like, I use this example that when you blow on a dandelion flower that's yellow, it doesn't go anywhere. It's a living dandelion. But when it's in this morphed phase into what we would call a wisher, right? So now it's dead, or kind of like dead mold, and you blow on it, and it scatters. That's my concern. That dead mold is potentially worse for symptoms than living mold. So it's like, for the people who fog their house and they bleach and stuff like that, I don't know if that's a good strategy. I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, well, people, I've gone well over an hour. We still have a lot of people on the call. And again, I'm here. I'm happy to answer questions. Happy to answer questions for you. Again, just open up the link, take a look at this. I know that it's expensive. I know it's an investment. I know it's a little bit of a sticker shock compared to what you're normally paying for supplements. But I'm telling you, you can get rid of a lot of your stuff. This is food. For $5 a day. $5. Think about the other places where you spend the $5. Your hair, nails, clothing, your car. I'm not, again, I'm not trying to be totally judgmental. There are a lot of people who are struggling financially. I get that. But can we scrape up $5 a day to get this food into your system? I would hope so. So all you got to do is click the Learn More button, and you will be able to further review this particular product. We'll send you an email on it, for follow-up. The replay is available. And again, at the end of the day, it's all about eating seafood. That's what the topic was. What I'm telling you is, if you want a foundational product, you got this. If you don't like eating seafood, you got this. If you want to prep, you got this. If you want to travel, you got this. If you want to give it to your children, you got this. To your grandchildren, you got this. And that's about all I got to say. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Stay healthy, stay well. I'm here to help. Dr. Jack Wolfson, for everyone at Natural Heart Doctor. Thank you.